Welcome to Still Moment Studio. My name's Paula. Thanks for joining me. This is the finished painting that I will be working on towards today. I did use quite a lot of masking fluid. I did use Daniel Smith masking fluid with 5 applicator tips. On the larger areas like this large flower in the front, you don't have to use any type of applicator. You just use the bottle just straight as it is. And then for the finer lines, you put on the little applicator tip and you're able to get fairly fine lines. I did have quite a lot of problems with bubbles as I was working. And as you can see from my little demo right here, I'm trying to create as even a line as possible. And you can see that bubbles just come up. And I had to have an extra piece of paper next to my painting. So because the applicator tip is clear, you can see the bubble coming. You're able to just kind of get that out off to the side and continue working, and I was able to kind of get a fairly smooth, even application. But even so, you will probably have to clean up some of your areas once you take the masking fluid off at the end, clean up your lines, and then finish your painting as you want to. I started with a fairly detailed drawing. Then first of all, I masked all the flowers, the flower pods, a few blades of grass, and a few leaves. Let your masking fluid fully dry before going to the next step. This is cadmium blue and then blue-green in the hills. I covered the fence posts with paper so I could spritz with water and create wet on wet in the grasses. So different tones of greens and blue-greens. I've fully let the wet on wet dry so that my fence post lines are very crisp and clean. This is brown, burnt umber, and black. Here I'm touching up with some browns and greens to create the illusion of a lot going on without the fussiness. I created all the individual lines for the grasses. Now I can rub off the masking fluid. This is 100% cotton rag paper, so the masking fluid has left fairly rough edges. So I'll need to touch those up and then finish the painting. Here I'm using yellow ochre with just a bit of blue in it to create kind of a dusty flower pod. With a damp brush, I'm lifting off some of the brown in the fence post to create a little more complexity on these fine grasses and weeds that are up against it. To give a second hue to the flowers, I've used the cadmium yellow with just a bit of purple to create a bit of a shadowy yellow. Cadmium yellow for the flowers. Cadmium red mixed with cadmium yellow. And then a bit of alizarin red on top. Now I'm adding different shades of green. And here different shades of purple and red purple. And then I can finish up the birdhouse. As you could tell, that was a fairly complex painting. I tried to simplify it as much as possible, and that's one way that that masking fluid did help. It was a lot of work at the beginning, but then I was able to just really quickly do the background, just create a lot of atmosphere, kind of a misty feeling in through the background. And then the wet on wet in these grasses was quite simple and easy, and that part worked really great. In through here, it did get more complex than I was hoping for. Remember that not all colors will lift off with a damp paintbrush, but browns do, greens do, and you'll kind of have to experiment with some of the other colors. Reds stain your paper and are a lot harder to get off. So hopefully you've enjoyed this process with me and maybe picked up a few tips and just enjoyed watching as well. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.